COVID told our leaders they have far more power over every detail of everyday life than they ever thought possible. And they're serious about using that power, including a wholesale transformation in what we eat. Put down that bacon buddy right now. Put down that cheeseburger. The bovine flatulence required to make that burger has already washed out outlying islands in Tuvalu. There goes another one now. Alexandra Marshall joins us from the Spectator Down Under. Alexandra, you make a very compelling argument that this is actually the most fundamental assault on the masses since the Enlightenment.
Well, yes. Can there be anything less progressive and more oppressive than telling the peasants what they can and can't eat? We are facing a situation where the elite are not happy that 1 in 9 people in the world are starving to death. They want to spread this kind of starvation and food shortage to the West, where we've been enjoying great food, particularly in Australia. I mean, we have the best food in the world, but that's all about to end. We saw this begin life at COP26, where they started putting these little carbon counters next to the menus there to tell you how poorly your food was doing. Of course, at COP26, they still served duck and salmon, all sorts of things, but they don't want us to eat that. They want us to progress to a system where it's this plant-forward scenario, which is, by the way, monitored by another set of companies who get to sit there and dictate the moral value of our food. And supermarkets in Australia have gone, yes, we're going to add 57,000 products to this carbon rating menu to tell you what you should and shouldn't buy.
Yeah, you say that that's actually kind of, people look at it as if it's like when they put the calories. If you have a caramel macchiato with whipped cream at Starbucks and it's 3,000 calories, now they're telling you the carbon. So it's as if they're saying, we don't care about your waistline anymore. Your waistline is killing the planet.
Yes, well, we weren't even a week out from this. We'll tell you in a kind way how to be good to the environment. And straight away, we've got discussions in The Guardian from research in the UK, so it's technically your fault, Mark, about how they should add a meat tax to products to punish farmers and consumers for producing this, climate-killing, planet-murdering produce, which is otherwise known as fresh food. And so the idea is that this is obviously going to be difficult for the poor because they're going to increase taxes by over 50% on meat. So at the end of the year, they're going to give a lovely little handout to all the poor people so they can afford to go and buy a few burgers. I mean, they are talking about restricting something that we can currently buy with no problem, but it will now be reserved for the wealthiest people to consume. And it will have the unintended consequence, which the researchers didn't consider, of shutting down small farms, because who's going to bother with the expense of cattle farms if they can't sell their produce to the general public? This stuff is absolute madness. We are sending our culture into starvation for, as far as I can tell, no reason at all, except a couple of chemical companies want to skim a profit off telling us the moral value of food.
Can they pull this off, though, Alexandra? Because if you look at the short version of the eco-zealots, it's that all our problems arise from the Industrial Revolution. The planet was doing okay. There wasn't any global warming. Then we started putting up factories and mills and belching smoke. And then we got into the four-wheel drive sports utility vehicles. They got a big exhaust pipe at the end, so there's more black smoke coming out of that. It's industry and industrial revolution innovation that kills the planet. Are they really going to be able to sell us on the fact that farmers, that guys with straws, with Holstein cows grazing in pasture, that these are suddenly the guys really killing the planet? Can they do that change?
They don't have to win the argument. Let me put it this way. If 50 years ago I said to you, we are going to voluntarily shut down our baseload power supplies and replace them with environmentally disastrous, terribly unreliable and expensive products that will triple your energy bill in 10 years, you would have told me, well, no one would ever agree to that. And yet here we are around the West. It just happens because people at the top make the decision. And by the time we realise what's happened, we have no power to stop it. So that's why they've branded this. They've gone from eat bugs, which obviously the West was never going to get on board with, to plant afford. You know, you're just going vegetarian, really, with a little meat subsidy on the side once a year. And that is all well and good. And I guarantee you, once people start trying to go to their local burger store and they realise they can't get any more, they will try and revolt, and it'll be too late because the farmers will no longer be in production. And so by that stage, you'll get these huge companies, these international farming corporations will take over all the farms. And at the end of the day, they will become our primary producers of food. You know, no more small farmers, no more fresh food from your local producer.